Hey everybody, Jeff, Happy Texas Homestead. This is going to be part 2 of the Leatherwork series where we're making a money clip wallet. So if you remember correctly, I cut the pattern out. I transferred the pattern onto the leather, and now we're about to start tooling and probably basket stamp the other side. But when we get that far, I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you can see, we've got it transferred onto the leather. I'm about to wet the leather, or case it, as we say in the industry, and we will begin carving it out and go from there. So, in order to cut this design out, we use this is what I use. This is called a swivel knife. So, here at the yoke, it swivels. That gives the ability to make it turn. There's a blade on the end of this knife. This is a a quarter inch hollow ground blade. Wish the camera would focus. And every time that we cut leather, we need to strop that blade. And when you're stropping that blade, what you're doing is you are polishing the blade. As you cut this knife through this leather, there's the stuff that they use to tan this leather with, it's a vegetable tanned leather. But the stuff that they use to tan this makes your knife dull. So periodically you have to strop your knife on a strop board. Better way to explain that is oftentimes you'll see a barber doing that. He'll be stropping his knife before he's going to give a shave. So it's the same thing. Ten times each side. Okay. And then we can start cutting it out. I'm going to cut the borders out and then we'll go from there. Alright, we've got the border cut out. I'm going to start working on the long vines, and then I'll do the flower last. So basically I just start with one of the long ones and just go. Right there. That's where you want that knife to be able to spin freely, so that you can just glide the knife through the leather without having choppy marks on there. Okay, got all the vines cut. Now I'll do the flower and flower center next. Next is the flower center. Perfect timing because my blade was dragging. Okay. We got the whole pattern cut out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bevel all my lines. And I'll show you what that means here in just a second. First I'm going to bevel the border, and then I'll start on vines and leaves and everything else. And when you're beveling, what you're doing is you're pushing leather down to bring elements up. So you'll see in just a second, I'll show y'all. You're starting to create a 3D image at this point, or so it may seem. Okay, the border is beveled. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start on these vines and then work our way in. Trying to do this and give you all a decent view is proving to be slightly difficult. So I'm doing the best I can, folks. Appreciate y'all watching. So all the vines have been beveled. Now I'm going to do the flower, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So as you can see, the flower petals are beveled, the vines are beveled. I just need to do the flower center real quick. Alright, as you can see, everything has been beveled. The next thing we're going to work on is putting seeds in the flower center. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is work on this area right here, making it look like the center is sunk down into the leather a little bit. Now we'll do our cedar. That's what we've got so far. So next I'm going to work on these flower petals. We're going to do what we call a thumbprint on those. And it's the same as pear shading, if you've ever heard that term. But I'll show you what a thumbprint, the difference between a thumbprint and a pear shader is. This tool right here If I can get it to freaking focus. Maybe. There we go. That's what they call a pear shader. Okay? It's short and fat. This is a thumbprint. It is long and skinny, and this is my preferred tool to use on flower petals. Very rare do I use this one. It depends on the type of floral work that I'm doing, but usually I prefer these, and I have a pretty good variety of sizes of these, so that's what I like to use. So anyway, we'll do that. We'll work on petals. Maybe hit it with some more water. And pause. Alright, I'm going to pause y'all. This is kind of lengthy, and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so that's done. It doesn't look like much now, but it'll look good when we get done. Next thing I'm going to do is work on all my vines, and then we'll do our background, and then we'll do our decorative cuts, and then we'll be done with this. While I was waiting, I drew out my lines for the other side, and I'll show you all that in just a minute. Okay, next we're going to work on the leaves and the vines and whatnot. Alright. So next is the backgrounding, and then we're almost done. Alright, all the backgrounding is done. All we have left to do now is decorative cuts, and then we can move over to this side. So, stay tuned. Okay, I've got them all done on the flower. Now we just move on to everything else. We're almost done here. Okay, we got one last thing to do. And that's this tool right here, which is a mule's foot. And I'll show you. It just gives a little bit of texture, is all it does. I'm only going to use it in one spot, so. Okay, flower is complete. So we'll move on to this side now. So as you can see, There. We've got a border. I'll cut the border out first. I've already drawn a line to guide myself with the basket weave, and after we get all that complete, we'll run around this border with another border tool, and this thing is going to be done, and then we'll move on to finishing and everything else. Alright, here we go, cutting the border. Okay, then we're going to bevel the border. Alright, we've got that done. The next thing I'm going to do is put my maker's mark on here, which is this thing. So I'm going to put that right down here, and then we'll go from there. It's a little crooked. I can live with it. Okay, now we'll start a basket weave. Alright, that's the start right there. And then we'll just continue to build on that. I'll bring you all back when that one's done, and I'll show you the last step. Okay, there's the basket weave. So next we'll do a border tool, and then we're done with this part of it. Okay. It's complete. So next we'll let this dry overnight probably, and then I'll show you all the next process in making a money clip wallet. So I appreciate y'all watching. This is part 2 of the leatherworking on the Homestead. Please hit the like, give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. And hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when part 3 comes out. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Is there something else you'd like to see? Yeah. Thank y'all. Have a good one.